Very good morning, FYI family. Hope you guys are good and well. Wherever you're joining us from in the world this morning, whether you're here in Guyana or you're somewhere in the diaspora, it's Friday, the 12th day, believe it or not, and I'm feeling a little change under the weather. Hope you guys are fine. And many of you who've already begun to comment. Marlon Thomas, Dolly Anderson, Debbie Collins, and all you other folks. You ever wake up good? The next thing you know, your bones hurting. You feel a little feverish. Debbie Collins. You know, it's big people, we got to stick together. We can't take the night Jew as we used to. Debbie Collins, Dolly Anderson, Rhonda Spencer Farm is here, Alistair Gill, and all the other folks. I'm having some plain chocolate. No cream, just, let me see, mixed thingy. Pretty Felicia, Jacqueline, folks, I wish I was feeling 100%. But it's that kind of Friday. Marcus Skinner, it's that kind of Friday. Y'all didn't tell me that Jack Dill loves Nigel. Saw some bromance there yesterday. We can come around to that as we start. The first 15 things this morning. I feel like it's a little pot baked to go with this hot chocolate here. No cream, just... Thank you, Bushmaster, for those wonderful words. He says, Grand Rising to myself and the family. Thank you so much. It's a little words for us. Coral wants to know what happened to Vikram. And hold on, you hurry. At least I'll give you little pleasantries. Yeah, welcome to Vikram. What's happening there to Vikram Bharat? So the Master Cup, happy Friday to you too. Urban Dawn, fantastic Friday to you as well. Vikram Bharat is in the news. What's happening? Rihanna Mingo. Who no? We gotta ask Enrico. Wolford. What's happening? Pretty malicious. I want to know too. I want to know too. A lot of them getting pulled in for fitness. Y'all notice that? Good folks, have you noticed that? It's quite a few of these guys being pulled in for fitness. And as we come on, we do our housekeeping. Do share that live for us. If you'll be so kind to share that live for us, good folks, so that others get the valid and credible information too. Don't let's keep it to ourselves. Please and thank you. We want as many persons to get the valid and credible information as well. Pretty Militia, we see you there. Good morning to you. Hope the day started well at your end and all the other folks who are joining us. Good morning to you guys as well. Yonek. Folks, very soon we can stop going to all the other pages and just credible sources. So ensure, wherever you're joining us from, very soon we're just coming straight to credible sources. Aubrey Stevens, we're in that age and stage. Ingrid King, Remington Moriah. Good to have all of you here this morning. We start the first 15 things, folks. Why y'all didn't tell me it was big bromance yesterday on the Voice President's press conference? Naomi Drucker, you're keeping things from me. Right? Now we say don't share because time limited this morning. Y'all didn't tell us. It's big bromance yesterday. Take a look, take a listen to something about the Voice President said, and that conflict of interest he claims that exists between ExxonMobil, Nigel Hughes, and Hughes, Fields, and Stobie, the law firm that Mr. Hughes is a part of. Take a listen to some of what the Voice President said just yesterday.
They said Javier was afraid of Nigel Hughes because I held 2 press conferences. I held one press conference last week, and I gave some comment. But trust me, he'll get a lot of attention because I love Nigel Hughes, not because I hate him. He'll get lots more attention from us. 5 press conferences, maybe 10, because we will keep pointing out what he wants to hide. Not because we are afraid of Nigel Hughes. Nigel Hughes was there in the period when we were in opposition. We didn't have any, they had control over everything. and we won the elections then. And we won the elections with Nigel Hughes and his fancy mathematics and everything else. All of them were aligned against us. And what would we be afraid of from this Nigel Hughes, who's been our opponent throughout, who's been lying to the people of this country blatantly throughout his entire political career? Who is not a new person. He is chairman of AFC twice. So who would be afraid of Nigel Hughes? The attention we're giving him is because of the obscenity of their position. We want to point out that AFC is an obscene party. The man says minutes after he was elected, I will put ExxonMobil's interest above that of the national interest. That must be music to the ear of ExxonMobil. Whatever they say about us, they always say we're in Exxon's pocket, etc. That's what they would love to think. But we have strong positions. We defend what we believe is good for Guyana. So if we say we want to increase oil production in this era with climate change, it's because we are convinced that it's good for Guyana, and and our interests coincide with that of ExxonMobil and the others. And that's why we defend it. But they don't have anybody from the government of Guyana on their payroll. We take this conflict of interest issue seriously. There was one current minister who was doing business with ExxonMobil before he became a minister. And I remember 2 days after President Ali was sworn in, he was invited to the office of the president. We were in a meeting, we were looking at the cabinet, naming the cabinet, and the option was put starkly to him. You either stay out the cabinet or you continue, you disassociate yourself if you want to be a minister. And so we take this seriously since then. And that is why we're speaking about it. Because imagine in the National Assembly, when we go with the environmental law and everything else, we don't know what the AFC position is.
Yep. That's what he said. You ever wake up good? And then you hear the vice president says he loves you. Helen Collin, Savage Stitch. You ever wake up good? Marty Innes, Joanne Hooper Beckles. Good. You get up, and then we love Nigel. You know. But the FC is an obscene party. That's my guy, really. I can come in the middle of love with nobody. You don't get in people's love story. But that piece of the AFC is an obscene party. I got a little trouble this day. Joanne and Company. I got a little trouble there. Andrew Griffith, Tommy Gibbs, Osmond Hodge. I got a little trouble there. You ever wake up good? Good, you get up. So this is at on the East Bank. This accident happened just this morning. Just this morning, that accident happened there. They're telling us it's the supply turn on the East Bank. You get up good. Then somebody got to come in your way. I saw a fella that says this wasn't moments ago when we posted it. He said it's about 2 a.m. I wonder, the 2 a.m. sky looking different these days. You think it's climate change? You think it's climate change? You could wake up good. And then there's some crosses. Some folks tell us this is an area in Diamond and that corridor there. Just pointing out how some trucks will block the whole road. Block up the whole road. You got to squeeze past. Don Sullivan, thanks for the info. Desiree Albert, David Fernandez. You wake up good. then it's some trouble. Let's touch on a couple of things internationally, and then we circle back. A baby was found on a road in Louisiana. A 1-year-old baby, alive but abandoned on a road. And the authorities want to believe that this baby would have been there for about 2 days. For about 2 days. The baby's older brother, a 4-year-old, sadly was found dead near the same highway in Louisiana. Interstate 10, I think it is. What is said to us? You see, when the father upstairs, Tracy said, you must live, you must prosper, and be in good health. Daphne, Aaron, when the father upstairs says your time, Marlon Thomas, when he shut the door, no man can open it. And when he open it, Jacqueline them can't close it. So this baby boy, 1-year-old, abandoned. Can you imagine that? And then look this one. You might want to avoid northern Mexico. You just might want to avoid, right? I think this here is called Talopipas. Northern Mexico, they say. 200 crocodiles, thanks to Beryl. In the streets. Tamaulipas, Mexico. 200 crocodiles just lurking in cities because of the rise in the waters there. Again, heavy rains, thanks to Beryl. You know, you got to send some of them boys in Tamaulipas. Send some of them there. They said the rain raised water levels in coastal lagoons, causing the slithery fellas, the crocodiles, calling the animals to crawl into cities like Tampico, right? And Ciudad Madero. I think Ciudad is a city in Spanish. Madero and Tampico. Send some of them boys there. Thank you, Quincy. Quincy Christian. Thank you for that donation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Send some of them boys in there. The corrupt set. Tampico, Madeira. Margaret Nelson said that's belt, bags, and shoes walking around in Tampico. Belt, bag, and shoes. And as we are Beryl, they're telling us that the UN, this is on behalf, I think, of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the UN trying to raise $4 million US because the damage is so much there. Trying to raise $4 million US for relief efforts in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's Ralph Country. I think we got one other story on this. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the opposition leader there, the Honorable Mr. Friday, Godwin Friday, says that greater urgency is needed in the hurricane relief efforts. And he leads the NDP, the National Democratic Party, there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I should be having a chat with him very soon on some of these very issues here. Again, that's the leader of the opposition, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Dr. Godwin Friday. We're going to see how that goes. But our thoughts and prayers. Well, all our folks who, in these kinds of adverse situations, thoughts and prayers with them. Kamala in Trinidad and Tobago says that, what's the word? Top office holders, some of them display disgraceful behavior. I wonder if that's why one of the boys in trouble this morning. Kamala seemed to be talking for we now. Disgraceful behavior. Whom buying from the police force, top officials, own apartment building, putting down 15 million in the credit union. Where people are amassing this amount of wealth from? Where they're getting it from? And here is Kamala calling out our countrymen, senior politicians there, Trinidad and Tobago, and we got some right here. We got some right here as well. She said even inclusive of the Prime Minister. Disgraceful behavior. That's what she said. And as I said, that could be right here we're talking about. That could be right here because senior veteran journalist Enrico Wolford alleges that Vikram was held at JFK. He was detained, questioned by U.S. authorities. And according to Wolford, this is not border authorities. It's not border authorities. Let me quote for you folks what Enrico Wolford said. Guyana Minister for Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, was met, escorted off and questioned by federal agents at JFK Airport last night, this 11th of July. Enrico goes on that it is unclear why those particular investigating officers and not the usual diplomatic protocol officers would meet and escort Guyana's Minister of Natural Resources. Good folks, that's what we're hearing this morning. It is what we're hearing. Miss Blue is what we're hearing. And it's what we have to report on as well. Good to see Brian here and Levy Go and Gail and Marlene and Sabrina and all the other folks. It was May and then it was Watts and then it was sure some folks we didn't know about yet. You know they're going to be so afraid to fly. They're going to be so afraid to fly. See, that's why Jack got all this time now for this bromance with Nigel. Oh, I love Nigel. I love Nigel. He ain't going no place soon. They're going to be so afraid to fly. Gail, you're frightened. Aurelia Abrams and all the other folks. Naomi said summer cancel. Summer cancel. So folks, that's how we got it. We don't have a lot more than that to tell you at this time. But interesting times you're living in. I remember Siobhan and Marlon, Loretta and Yvonne, Edward, some folks that said we were going to get sanctions if we stayed in office much longer. We were going to get some sanctions. Lo and behold. Behold and lo, Derek Wills. Derek said, house of cards. Look what's happening. I feel a little sluggish. Is it me? I feel a little sluggish. Pauline says they're going to keep out America. Sanctions coming. They're going to keep out America. Sanctions coming. Well, he'll have to tell us if visa will revoke or anything like that. No doubt. He's going to have some explaining to do, folks. All right? I said I'm feeling a little sluggish. Here's one, Naomi. Drinks and the pots. Let me say good Edward. Edward holding a focus. Edward said implosion. Implosion. That's what's happening with the PPP. Edward says implosion. So senior journalist Enrico Wolford says Vikram Bharat, Natural Resources Minister, questioned by the U.S. authorities. As I said, last verses we have at the hour, folks. I see Kwame blaming me for misinformation on what transpired there on the east bank of Demerara at Sierra Johanna squatting area. I'm being blamed for misinformation. Now they know, Kwame knows who among them, he knows that, who among them got people fronting for land in those areas. He knows that. I heard Kwame has a lot of properties too. I heard he got a lot of properties too. But that's going to be another story. Excuse me for a second. I need to dot some T's and cross some I's. It's that kind of morning. Dot my T's and cross my I's. He got a lot of properties, I've been made to understand. But Americans, I'm happy doing their own investigation and not relying on the likes of Kwame Mokot, who says that government is actively engaging folks from these areas. The people say they pay for the land. Oh. Give them the land, man. Give them the land, man. These are some folks who life has not always been kind to them. And y'all got an opportunity to be that kindness. But no, it's more hardships. And then that same press conference yesterday by the vice president, to hear again saying Starbuck News is not correct on the high cost of living. Starbuck News ain't correct on that. Well, you know he able. He got to know that he able. Gotta know that he able. Because the cost of living going up, and we spoke to this on our Monday broadcast. Thanks to Starbuck News, every Monday they interview a lot of folks who say the same thing. Pigeon Island was the community they touched on last week, residents from there. Take a listen to some of what the vice president said about the cost of living yesterday's press conference.
I see Starbuck News going out, this thing they have, and they go to some elderly people and say, because they see it as a political issue. They say it as the cost of living gone up, and so what is your view on it? What's your view on it? But they don't say what we had to contend with, and they don't say that the cost of living is made up of many things. So cost of living is one, your utility bills, transportation, etc. Let's talk a bit about this, utility bills and how other countries have fared. You've had a massive increase in transportation costs in countries in this region and the price of electricity and water supply. If you check, just go and Google that and you see almost all the countries in the region have done this because fuel prices went up. So how did we in Guyana deal with this? And what did it cost the Treasury? How did we deal with it, and what did it cost the Treasury? And how was it any different than other countries? So the first question is electricity prices, when all the other countries are increasing it. I've said this before, that when GPL budgeted this year their fuel costs to break even so that they can cover their recurrent costs, not the capital costs. Because everybody knows that the capital cost for GPL is funded by the government. We're funding the gas to energy project. We're funding the upgrade of the transmission system, the control center. All the capital costs of GPL is funded fully from the Treasury, and that has grown into billions of US dollars because we're preparing a modern grid. Last week I spoke of that. So forget the capital costs. Let's put that aside, the recurrent costs. They budgeted $70 US dollars per barrel of fuel, weighted average for this year to break even. The weighted average this year is, because they import all of this fuel, is $104. So when you calculate the volume, so that's like 34 US dollars more per barrel that they didn't budget for. So when you calculate the volume that they import minus times 34, you run up to 60 something million US dollars. I pointed out that we are going to the treasury for supplementary for 60 something million. That means we are putting in a subsidy of 66 to 70 million US dollars this.
Some of what was said yesterday on the cost of living, making the arguments there that they're doing all of this, quote unquote, supplementing the cost of living. Right? So if they fix your road, they've helped with the cost of living. The minibus the price is supposed to come down, the taxi prices supposed to come down because your road got fixed. So there's supplementing the cost of living. You can't make this stuff up, you know. You just can't. They said the squatting there is on the radar of the government. Squatting along the Linden Sussex Highway. But it's interesting, if we didn't go there with our cameras, we weren't going to be having this conversation. Because again, the folks said they pay the money for the land, but they can't get it yet. They ain't got the allocation. They said someplace in Sophia plot A, B, or C. That's what it said. And then Kwame went on to say, took a very high-handed approach, that if you go on private land and squat, there's a natural consequence and so on. And that was private land when they went and squatted it, or it was sold under their feet, sold under the beds. Wickedness in the PPP. Wickedness. This is interesting here. With the trainee fire officer, that's a point. There's a trainee, he's not a real fire officer yet. Trainee. On bail for causing death by dangerous driving. You gotta be careful out there in the roads. Be careful out there in the roads. Don't let us be in that much of a hurry. Don't let us be that much of a hurry. Folks, we're going to wrap up in another 10 minutes. As soon as we hit that 9 o'clock, we're going to come to a hard conclusion. I'm feeling a little odd. Just let me put it like that. I need to start talking about my secrets. Beatrice Selby, because they see their crowd providence, never see though. Be careful on the roadways. $500,000 bail. $500,000 bail. This trainee fire officer, Masion Hooper, you gotta be careful out there. Please, it's all kind of wildness. In these streets, have you had a chance to read the editorial of Starbuck News? Have you had a chance to read it for the morning? It focused on UG Council. I know we've been talking about this for a couple of days. The amendment to the Council Act now gives the government a larger representation on the UG Council, and for all intents and purposes, control of that council. There's a lot of wickedness happening. But it's interesting how Starbuck News ends this editorial. It's very interesting. Did I get it right? Yeah. Very interesting. Referring to some of what Coretta McDonald said in her debate. The editorial says, during the parliamentary debate, Coretta McDonald was reported as saying the politicization of education could have serious consequences, including the erosion of public trust. The editorial says, the stifling of innovation and limiting academic freedom. According to MacDonald, she went on to say, or rather the editorial says, she's right about that. The politicization of UG, the takeover. And Sabbath News ends in this way. If the government is serious about reforming UG, it has to begin by relinquishing the control levers before it does anything else. If it's serious with UG, relinquish the control levers before you do anything else. Sabbath News to the government. Sabbath News to the government. But they ain't gonna be too loved of this administration. They ain't gonna be too loved. And for those of you who now joining us, I let it in the press this morning. We talked about it a little bit before. But this is Vincent Alexander in today's press, saying that GECOM dragging the foot on the Asher Kissoon matter. He says it's been months now since one Mr. Ford from Asher's former party, the New Movement, wrote to them asking to clarify who is heading the list. Who is headed the list? And they say that the government is pussyfooting on this matter. Right? And it being an enabler on the issue, well, it got to come to an end. It has to come to an end. You all didn't tell us, let them hospital. And Sheriff is the lone bidder. Sheriff is not a construction company, not construction company. Some other businesses too. Sheriff is the lone bidder on this Let Him Hospital. I see some of y'all done saying friends, family, and favorites. There's Ray Albert. There is a good thing I had my best days at UG. What's happening here, Empatap? What's going down here? Nice time for Sheriff. Nice time for Sheriff. And another letter in today's Sabbath News says that your boy should be the last person, very last person, to talk about a conflict of interest, to pronounce on a conflict of interest. GHK Lala did again. They should be the last person. And if you missed it when we start, right, there's a strange kind of accusation about conflict of interest from the vice president. You see, love Nigel, love him, love him, love him, love him. That's what he said. Take a listen. If you're now joining, you had a chance to catch us from the start. He loves him.
They said Jagdeo was afraid of Nigel Hughes because I held two press conferences. I held one press conference last week and I gave some comment. But trust me, he'll get a lot of attention because I love Nigel Hughes, not because I hate him. He'll get lots more attention from us. 5 press conferences, maybe 10, because we will keep pointing out what he wants to hide. Not because we are afraid of Nigel Hughes. Nigel Hughes was there in the period when we were in opposition. We didn't have any, they had control over everything. And we won the elections then.
Yeah. He said he's not afraid of Nigel. We love him, we love him, we love him. I don't want to get in the way of this kind of bromance. We love him, we love him, we love him. We love Nigel. We love. Strange love. Strange love, folks. Strange love. So we want to commend that to you, GHK Lal. So he should be the last person to talk about conflict of interest, because he is at so many. He's at so many. You know, there are some wholesome things happening. One of them is this pageant we see happening on the East Coast. We wanted to point out to you folks Love to see our young people involved in wholesome activities. Right? We love that. We ain't got nothing against that. Wholesome activities. And this is the casting call for Miss East Coast Beauty with a Mission pageant 2024. Themed a new elevation. A new elevation, and there's a casting call for persons who want to vie for the top spot in this pageant. You know, productive activities we recommend for our young people all the time. Miss East Coast Beauty with a Purpose, Beauty with a Mission rather, Beauty with a Mission, casting call. There's where we want to leave it today, folks. I'm cutting it a little short this morning. As I said, I feel a little off balance. Casting call before I start going off on y'all. Before we start going off. Folks, we're going to be back, all things being equal, this evening with a final broadcast. For today, we commend our last evening program. We spoke with the family of the gentlemen who lost their lives in that vicious manner, chopped to death. Day before yesterday, we spoke with the mother of those young men yesterday. Amongst some other things we have in our program. Today, we're going to continue to upload more videos and news items on our YouTube channel. And folks, we are just short of 19,000, probably hit 19,000 by now. And I want to thank all of you for that. If you're watching us on Facebook, ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Credible Sources. Type in Credible Sources in your search, folks, and you're going to see our logo. You're going to see our whatever it is there. Ensure you subscribe. So you're always in the know. Good, folks? You're always in the know. Who know? That's what we're saying. Who know? That's the first 15, folks. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like whichever page you're watching us from as well. And that's going to do it for us at this end. Let me go. Good to see you there. Good to see Joyanne Beckles on the live too. And Beatrice Selby. Good to see you guys as well. Hard finish at 9. Coral Providence, we see you too. And Darren Abrams. Lucille Kendall. Good to see you there as well. Lucille, folks, you all go ahead and have a good day today. Chevron McDonald, good to see you too. Edward Rooms, great to see you at this end. And the other folks, share the live before you go. Do us that big favor. Smash the emoji button as well. Magnan says be safe. Be safe as well. I see O'Neill, Vanessa Yanet is here. Good to see you, O'Neill, Magnell, Edward. I saw as we wrap up here, lots of commentary because Mr. Biden had several slip-ups. The press conference he held recently. Lots of slip-ups on that front. Thank you, Diane Abrams and Joyanne Hooper and Diane and all the other folks. The Honorable Camille McKenzie, Shalon Joseph, and all you good folks on with us this morning. That's going to do it for us at this end. That's our time and that's our program. Good folks, have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care.